Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share my recipe for homemade chili with you guys. Again, this video is going to be kind of vlog style, just like the last one. I had some bigger lighting come in today. I'm using my ring light, but I'm just going to have some more professional and expensive lighting coming today. But in observance of MLK Day, my leasing office is closed and FedEx marked the package or marked the delivery. The business was closed, so I have to wait till tomorrow to get that, and the show must go on. So first and foremost, I'm gonna get my meat on the stove. Also tie your hair back and make sure your hands are clean. So I'm gonna get the meat on the stove. If you're interested in seeing how I get all of this done and make this delicious bomb chili, stay tuned. So while my meat continues to brown, I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning lightly. I love Cajun seasoning, so I always add like Cajun seasoning to everything. And then just a little bit of garlic powder. And give it a nice stir. I do use 2 packs of ground turkey. Most people use ground beef for their chili, but I don't use red meat in my household for the most part, so I do just use what we like, and it tastes really good. So I hate when my ground meat, ground turkey, ground beef, ground chicken, ground anything looks like stringy because of the way it's packaged. So I usually will use like a potato masher to kind of mash it and get rid of that stringy thing. Just something I've been doing for years, and I don't know, it's just a habit for me, because when I just use a spoon, I feel like I sometimes get some of those stringy pieces in there because of the way it's packaged, and it kind of grosses me out because I'm kind of funny with meat. But while this continues to brown, I'm going to keep an eye on it, and then as soon as it's done, I'm going to take it over to the sink and drain it. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill this bowl with a bunch of measurements for my chili seasoning. You can buy the packs of chili seasoning from the grocery store, but I like to make mine fresh. So I'm gonna go ahead and combine all of my seasonings in here, and then I'll share the ingredients with you. Mind you, all of the ingredients are listed down below. So here my meat is. I went ahead and dumped it into a strainer so that I can drain out all the fat, and I'm going to transfer this into the large pot where I'm going to make the chili. In the meantime, I also put together my chili seasoning, as well as I cut up my vegetables that are also going to go into the chili. So these are pretty much all of the ingredients that I used for my chili seasoning. Again, you can buy the chili packs, like the seasoning pack for chili, in the grocery store, but I like to make mine fresh. So basically the recipe for my chili seasoning is listed down below, but it is 3 tablespoons of chili powder. This is 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of cumin. This is 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is brown sugar, and it just helps to balance out the salt and all the other flavors in the recipe, but it will not make your chili taste sweet. And then this is 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Feel free to add more if you like your spicy, but this is enough for me. For the vegetables, you usually will use 2 jalapenos. I use 1 because my toddler eats this recipe and I don't want it too spicy. And then you use 1 whole bell pepper. They didn't have the green bell peppers when I went to Walmart last night, so I just got red and yellow. I like extra bell peppers, so I do 2 cut up, and these are sweet, but they're not going to taste sweet once the recipe or the chili is done. And then this is also a whole onion. You're also going to use diced tomatoes in the recipe. I like to use the canned, but if you want to use it fresh, you can go ahead and cut up your diced tomato fresh. Also, you want to mince up some garlic. The recipe calls for about 4 cloves. This is probably about 5 or 6 because I like extra. So now we're gonna just go ahead and saute this in a pan and get everything in the pot to get cooking. So I'm gonna take that same pan that I made the ground turkey in. I'm not gonna rinse it out or clean it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back onto the fire. And I'm gonna take a few tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and heat it up. Now I'm gonna saute my vegetables in this pan with this olive oil, but this is the pot that I'm actually gonna simmer my chili in. So I'm gonna go ahead and take and pour all of that ground turkey into this pot. Don't forget to add your garlic. So I'm going to let this cook for about 5 to 7 minutes, or until the onions are transparent and the vegetables begin to get soft. So these cooked for about 10 minutes and now they're ready. So I'm just going to turn the fire off. Okay, so they cooked for about 10 minutes because I like to let my vegetables get extra soft. And then I just went ahead and turned the fire off. Now I'm going to add all of the seasonings that I put together on top. And just stir it and blend it in with those cooked vegetables. And this is pretty much what your seasonings and your vegetables should look like combined. There's no need to cook the seasonings into the vegetables. The residual heat left on the vegetables will kind of cook and marry the seasonings into it perfectly. So now you're ready to add all of the vegetables and the seasonings into the big pot along with the turkey you just made. I did also add black pepper, about a teaspoon of black pepper, and then also 2 teaspoons of parsley to the seasoning off camera because I forgot to before. Now we're gonna add the beans. Okay, so the next step is to go ahead and add your beans to your pot of chili. I like to add 1 can of pinto beans and 1 can of kidney beans. The ones that I always go for are the chili beans. So these are pinto beans, but they also say chili beans on it. And what I like this for is that it has a nice flavor to complement your chili. And then any dark kidney beans are fine as well. I like more beans in my chili than I do meat because I'm not a heavy meat eater. So I'll go ahead and add an extra can of beans to mine. You don't have to, but if you like beans like I do, I add an extra can. And all you do is just put them into a strainer and let them drain because you don't want any of that bean juice in your chili. You just want the beans by themselves. Don't rinse, just drain. I'm gonna bring the pot over to the sink and add the beans to the pot. So now I'm going to give it all a nice stir just to see what we're working with. And from here you can kind of gauge it and see like if you want to add more or less of something. You can kind of see what your chili is going to consist of in every bite. Okay, this is what we have so far and it's looking really good to me. So now we're gonna add the tomatoes. I'm gonna use 1 can of tomato sauce. This one says for chili. Again, I like to get stuff that's specifically meant for chili because it's seasoned a little bit better and it has special stuff in it just so that it'll complement your chili. And then I'm also gonna add 2 cans of diced and peeled tomatoes. Feel free to use any brand that you want. I go back and forth between different brands and they all pretty much taste the same to me, but I'm just going to add these three ingredients into the pot. Now I'm going to give it another nice stir and combine all of this just to see if I want to add any more of anything else. Like I like a lot of tomatoes in mine, but I want to make sure that I don't overpower it with tomatoes. So let's just combine it and see what we have. It should be good, but it's always good to just know. I'm pretty happy with what this looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some chicken broth. I grabbed unsalted. I usually grab low sodium, so I'm not sure how this one's gonna taste because like I said, I got the wrong one. If it is a little bit more bland, then I can add a little bit of bouillon or just add a little bit of more seasonings into it if it's not seasoned enough. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my fire on, combine everything together. So basically I'm going to let this heat up on the stove on high heat, and then once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna add the lid and reduce the heat all the way down to low and let it simmer for about an hour. You can go from 1 hour to 2 hours. The longer you let it simmer, the better. You can also transfer all of this into a crock pot and let it cook for a few hours, and that will be good too. Like I said, the longer you allow it to cook, the better it's gonna taste, because all of the flavors get to go ahead and marinate. So it's been the full hour and our chili is done. My camera died during that last segment, so I forgot to mention that I did add 3 bay leaves to this. I'm gonna take them out in a second just so that they don't end up in anyone's plate. Also, because I did use that full quart of chicken broth, I decided to go ahead and add a can of paste to thicken it up. If you don't have paste, or if you don't want to use paste, I'd say use maybe about half of that chicken broth instead of the whole thing. That way you won't have to thicken it up. It came out perfect. About 30 minutes in, I did come in and taste it to see if it needed anything, and I did add a few more seasonings. But other than that, it came out absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate it, and this is what it looks like. So this is what the chili looks like. I'm just gonna add cheese and sour cream to the top, and then I'm also going to serve it with this corn cake mix. If you've ever been to El Torito's, you guys know about the corn cakes. So bomb. So I'm gonna plate it and we're gonna eat. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your tips and tricks down below and let me know how you make yours, and also let me know how you pair yours or what you top yours with. Rice, Fritos, chips, whatever. Hey, I just realized I came back with different hair. Oops. Oh well, shit, it's done.
She just switched her hair.
Went from red to curly black. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and let me know how you make your chili. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.